Okay, let's watch this clip about a Canadian Indian calling us racist and saying that we're spreading 100% fake rumors and just we're a racist country. Let's watch.
Is there a lot of racism in Canada? Yes, Canada is full of racist people. Let me give you the latest example. Recently, this picture went viral online. And it went viral online because of a ton of Canadians start sharing this picture everywhere on the internet. Talking about how an Indian immigrant relieved himself outside a gas station in Brampton. It wasn't just a few people, thousands and thousands Canadians have been sharing it in less than 24 hours. And even after the owner of the gas station said this did not happen, nobody believed him. They just kept spreading it online because that's how much they hate Indians. But then they said it's clearly not photoshopped. He's pooping in public. Well, for your information, here's another picture of the same guy, and you can clearly see that he's wearing pants. So that image was in fact photoshopped. But the Canadians are not gonna believe that, and they're just gonna tell us to go back home to our country. Which is very funny because I came here legally, you didn't. Is there a lot of racism?
Okay, so that was, I think, a crazy video. So this guy is calling us Canadians racist. I assume he's probably Canadian, so I guess he's calling himself racist too. So that's a really big statement, though. And to me, that's really the same kind of propaganda as, posting the fake pooping picture. I think that's really weird that he would do that, honestly. I think he's just trying to get views, and it's really terrible if that is a fake picture. I'm not even going to talk about that, though. I just want to talk about the attitude of immigrants and Indian Canadians towards Canadians, and hopefully, we can get on the same page, even if that picture is fake. I will say that it plays into the whole thing because of what happened this summer when Indians were pooping on the beach. And I'll just go out and say it. We do not like people pooping in public. We do not like people pooping on beaches. So, it's terrible for Indians. It's terrible for Indian Canadians. Of course, it gives them a worse brand. So I apologize if any of you, people are saying go back to your country, but that's not racism. We're just disgusted by pooping in the beach or pooping, in the street, at a gas station, whatever. So I think it's really bad whoever posted that, but there's a different issue. And now this guy's calling us racist, which has nothing to do with race. It's just being disgusted by defecating in public. We think that's gross. So I don't care where you came from. We think that is gross. So, it's really bad, but I think it's also really bad calling us racist, just for that. And I don't like hearing, go back to your country from them. That's really bad stuff. But what I will say is that we don't like throwing garbage in public. We don't like pooping on the beach. And it doesn't matter where you're from, if you're Indian or not. So you may have heard, Indians are hearing a lot of this stuff. We like people, that shower and use soap. We don't like people abusing the system in Canada, taking handouts, stealing cars, fake marriages, and Tim Hortons, and all the scams and the abuse of the system. And that has nothing to do with race. But yes, of course, this can lead to racism from ignorant people. But we have seen a lot of scams and just like issues with Indians in Canada now. We have so many coming in. That's why we talk about it. I have other videos discussing how many immigrants are coming in from India. And when I grew up, we never had this issue. It's newer because we have so many more coming in, and it seems like we, especially during the Trudeau era, we let so many in. The ones that shouldn't be here, not the great ones like the point system, the educated ones. And at the end, he said, "I came here legally, you didn't." And that's a really bad attitude too that I've heard from other Indians and Indian Canadians, acting like we took over the indigenous land, so we're not real Canadians either, but we came here legally. Well, I don't think that's fair. I mean, my family has been here for since the 1800s. Canada was founded in 1867 officially. My great great grandparents came over after that. I would call myself a legal Canadian, but I also consider my friends that are, recent immigrants to be Canadians. And it has nothing to do with when you got here. It's about attitude. And they share the same Canadian attitude of what they hoped Canada would be, which is mainly, and what I honestly grew up like, it was a clean, safe place to be a kid. And I hope now I have a kid and to raise a family, a land of opportunity and a nice culture with nice people. And we had people from all over the place. So I don't like when immigrants and Indian Canadians acting like we're not from here either. And I get it. It's hurtful. A lot of people say hurtful things to them. I'm not hurt by this. Just think it's a dumb statement. And they got hurt, so they just kind of make comments to us acting like we're not real Canadians either, so it doesn't matter. Well, yes, I think we're all Canadians, to be honest, as I said. So I hope we can all work together and make a great country and, without this kind of attitude. And we should be able to talk about it too. The problem is now people have been for years now just like hiding and not saying anything, and people are starting to get sick of it, and a lot of people hide behind their comments, and now you're hearing things like a bubbling up of go back to your country and stuff. Well, this wouldn't happen if we started having a real discussion about these topics and not hiding from it. You don't have to be all sensitive about it either. We're just having a discussion. But I don't like being called a racist. This guy shouldn't like, other people posting fake pictures of his culture. That's not great either. But like calling me racist, doesn't fly. Now, I hope you liked and subscribed to the channel by now and check out my other videos, and we will see you on the next one.